morning, 10th grade. This is a special edition, chapel edition. We have Joe playing your special today. I'm just going to go outside today and share a devotional, what God has been speaking to me. So go ahead and follow me. All right, beautiful day outside. Just thinking about today how good God is. A lot of times when things are going wrong or things are going bad or we're in tough times, it's easy for Satan to get in our minds and make us think that God is not good. But here today, I'm going to hopefully encourage you with some verses that I read that have been encouragement to me. Reading in Psalms 27, verse 13. If you want to pause the video and go ahead and turn there and read it with me, you can. But the verse says, I had fainted unless I had believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. I'm just going to break down this verse for you. Verse 14 said, I had fainted. Now we think about somebody faints. Usually you faint because you become fearful. Also, I think you could replace that word with quit. And sometimes it's easy to quit. And you think about, what instances are easy to quit? I think about in Florida, I had a friend and he had this fireplace and it was made up of all of these rocks. And back in the day, I guess it was pretty stylish or else they wouldn't have made it. But it got out of style. I think probably it was made somewhere in the 80s or the 70s. Maybe some of you had a fireplace that looked like this. But he wanted to take it out. He wanted to make it new, make it look more modern. And so what we had to do was we had to chisel these rocks out. And it was extremely hard. We couldn't get all these rocks out. But I've always been a person that's determined. And so my friend's like, you know what, let's just give up on this. It's not working out. I was determined to at least get the first rock out. Well, I did eventually. It took a long time. I got that first rock out. And then, you know what, it actually became easier. And once we got 2 or 3 rocks out, the rest of it came out real easy. I mean, you think about the principle there is that when things are hard or things are not working out, it's easy to just want to give up. But you know what? We would have missed out on the goodness of God. We would have missed out on the goodness of being able to replace that fireplace and make it look good and modern if we had just given up. Just be encouraged and know, and have that belief that good is going to come out of something will help you to carry through. I think about other tough situations that I have been in or things that have just not worked out right. I've told some of you this story before, but one day we were driving to school and we were going up a hill and I think it's called a hatch. Is that right, Mrs. Zimmerman? She's filming it. Hutch. Is it a hatch? But our hatch flew open. It wasn't secured. Sometimes the back hatch doesn't work well, and it flew open. A bunch of stuff flew out, and our kids just started screaming like the whole world was an end. And it was a very discouraging moment. And I think probably that day it was cloudy. You know how these days go. You start having a bad day, and it seems like everything's not working out. Well, you know what? I could have came back home and said, you know what? I'm going to give up on this day. We're going to quit the day. It's just going bad. I just give up. And that's what we're prone to do when things and discouragement happens. But we need to not give up. Also think about recently, my mother was supposed to go visit my sister. She just had a baby girl, and actually today she's posting pictures of the baby girl, Callie. She's 1 week old today, but my mom was going to go fly out to Washington to see her Tuesday. Well, with everything going on, she was scared she wasn't going to get back, and she canceled the flight for later. My mom could get extremely discouraged about that because she had plans, she had hopes, and she could even get as far as getting mad at God. Or she could look at, she could patiently wait for that day she gets to see her, and how much greater that's going to be when she does finally get to see her, waiting for however long it is to see her. If we continue with the verse, it talks about that, about the waiting on the Lord. It says, I had fainted unless I had believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. And you think, well, what's going to help us just to go on and be encouraged? Well, it's going to be to not give up, don't faint, and remember that God is good. We get deceived when we start focusing on the bad things. That's what Satan wants us to do. He did from the very beginning. But we have to remember is there's a lot of good things. I'm sitting out here today on my porch, and I think about the goodness of God and how He allowed us to buy this house, which I don't know if you can see it, but there's a neat little waterfall in the background. My wife's looking there. Maybe you can see it through all the trees. She's trying to point there. There's a neat little waterfall. There's a creek that dumps out into a lake, and my kids and I have had some great adventures going down there. But anytime I'm thinking about that, I think about how great it is that God gave us this creek that we can go down there and enjoy. And we go down there sometimes just and sit just to calm down, or we've had boat races that have actually gone bad. But in the end, everybody agreed that it was a good time. And we've just done so many things. I think about God's goodness and Him giving that to me. If we carry on in verse 14, it says, wait on the Lord. And that's what I was talking about. We have to wait on the Lord. We have to believe in this whole coronavirus, and we're all stuck in our homes. We have to believe that, you know what, good will happen again. And you think about some of the things that we can get frustrated with. You know, we could get frustrated, some of us that watch sports, we could get frustrated, you know, that there's hardly anything to watch on television. I found myself watching competitive juggling. And you think, well, you know, there's a whole lot better that we could be watching right now. You think about some of you have had your soccer seasons canceled. And some of your senior plans, maybe the trips, and the sophomores talking to you, your trips and all that have been canceled. You could get frustrated thinking about those things, but you know, God doesn't want us to do that. Think about the good that comes in all this. The busy lifestyle that we've all had, the busyness with school and all that. You know, it really has slowed down, and hopefully you guys have been able to get some more rest and have been able to enjoy family. A good thing is that you've spent more time with family. That might not seem like a good thing at all the times with you, as brothers and sisters may be getting on your nerves right now. But you think about it, it's a great time to build those relationships with our families. It says, wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and He shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. You know, other parts of the Bible talks about guarding our hearts and keeping our heart with all diligence. You know, it's easy when things aren't going wrong to become discouraged or even to become depressed. And I have been there in parts of my life, and I look back to those times in my life where I've been discouraged or depressed, and really they have been times where I haven't focused on the Lord. And I haven't thought, you know what, the Lord will give us good again. You know, and how much more grateful and thankful are we going to be when these things are returned to us? This thing is not going to last forever. We know there will be good, and we'll be able to return to our lives eventually. But what we need to do in this time is wait on the Lord. He's teaching us. I know He's teaching me things through this. I'm sure He's teaching you all through these things. But if nothing else, He's teaching us to be patient and to wait on Him. Although there's, you know, I thought about the verse, you know, we brought nothing into this world, and we can bring nothing out. You think, although some of the things have been taken away from us, you know, anything that we've been given has been of God. So, and anything given is good. All right, you know, another discouraging thought is that, you know, we're missing out on these things. You know, some of the things I wrote down here, some of the good things we can think about is our families. I think about this. I'm going to brag on her a little bit, but I thank God for a wife. I read today about a virtuous woman that fears God. The price of it's, you know, better than rubies. And I thank God for that. You know, I won't share a lot, but, you know, there's times in marriage and in relationships that things don't go well, and the devil wants us, and we're prone to want to give up. But every time we do that, we think about, you know, if my wife and I just gave up on our marriage and we gave it quit, you know, we're going to miss out. We're going to miss out on the good things God has for us later on. And that's true in everything. So I encourage you today, don't give up, don't get discouraged. Remember that God does have good for you. All right, we'll talk to you later. Hopefully everything's going well for you. Hope to hear from you later. Bye.